Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Dark Moon Greatsword build guide for an Elden Ring. So this is the Ranni's questline weapon and it's extremely powerful. This appears in all the Souls games as well as it also appeared in Armored Core. So this is very powerful. I'll be going over the build and how to level up through this, but just to show you what this can do, you got an attack that can deal 1800 damage. It's charged up there and that's the R2 attack, so you don't even have to use your mana after charging that up, and it hits really far away. Now I'll be going over the leveling here as the Albinarics walk towards me here. So we're going to want to have the obviously Dark Moon Greatsword. In the offhand, the Carrion Regal Scepter is really good, but honestly go with whatever you can find and whatever you can use. If you're earlier in the game, that is fine. So our level here is at level 150, but if you're at a lower level, I'll talk about what stats you want to have. Now ideally you want to get your vigor up to 30 first, and then ideally 50 is a nice number to sit at. And I have about 24 mind here. You can go higher with that. It's probably better to take some points out of intelligence, but I like the Dark Moon Greatsword's R2 attack so much that's typically what I use for damage. Now I have 30 endurance. Just use whatever endurance you can stay at a medium load. Now you want to have medium load and 56 poise, so take whatever items for armor that you can get yourself up to that 56 poise, because that's going to allow you to withstand a couple attacks before getting like that little posture break. If you have 51, you'll be able to withstand one attack, and if you have less than 51, you'll get staggered pretty easily. Now, I have 16 strength and 11 dexterity, which is the minimum required attributes to be able to equip the Dark Moon Greatsword, so you want to make sure that you have at least that, and then put the rest of it in intelligence. So you need 38 intelligence to be able to equip that. I would prioritize getting your vigor up to 30, and then obviously getting your mind endurance up to what you need them at, having the strength and dexterity to equip it, and then the rest into intelligence. I'll also go over the different spells that I got. Now for Talisman, the Godfrey icon's really good. It's one of the few, there's only a few weapons and skills that get buffed by this, so this enhances charged spells and skills, and this actually charges the or gives us more damage on the R2 attack, so that's awesome. I'm using the Great Jar's Arsenal, but you can swap that out if you can hold a medium load. The Cerulean Amber Medallion's a pretty good one too. You want to have, it's nice to get your FP up as high as you can get it to be able to cast more spells, but make sure you keep that medium roll there. The Shard of Alexander gives us more power in our skill, so the Dark Moon Greatsword there. But you can alternatively swap this out for something else if you want, maybe like to focus more on your sorceries. The Graven Mass Talisman's a decent one to go with. And you can also go with one of the other ones here if you go to like more jump attacks, but I would say that the Carrion Regal, or I'd say that either the Shard of Alexander, the Graven Mass, or the Carrion Filigreed Crest, which will lower the FP consumption of our buff there. And also the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman. You can swap this out for different damage negation depending on what you're going up against, but physical is typically going to be the most common. Also, putting on Raw Meat Dumplings, don't use these, but your Mimic will heal themselves with them, so that's kind of a nice little bonus. And I'll show you, some spells that we got here. Spiral Shard here is actually really good. This can tear through the Elden Beast. It actually kind of cheeses the Elden Beast because it hits multiple times. You can see there it hit them 3 times, but the larger the target, the more they're going to get hit by that spell. Carrion Phalanx is a nice one to get just for the defensive purposes that gives. Loretta's Great Bow, and you can also go with Loretta's Mastery, but I like just the regular Great Bow because it has lower FP consumption. You can also charge this up, which will get boosted by the Godfrey icon there, and you can see just a simple one-shot from a distance, which is really nice. And you can hit targets pretty far away. That hit the Albinaric in the way. That's pretty funny. And then you can just buff yourself up and use the charged attack there to be able to hit from a range. This is actually pretty good defensively. I would recommend having around 4 flasks of Cerulean Tears or higher. And the big spell of this build is actually Ranni's Dark Moon. So this is better than R'Lana's Full Moon because Ranni's Dark Moon gives us the ability to, once we cast this here, it's going to reduce the damage negation, but it also deals frostbite damage. I'm surprised it didn't take it out in one hit, but it gives frostbite buildup, 270 points of frostbite buildup, which is actually pretty good. Some targets will actually get frostbite from just that one spell itself. So that is a really good one to use because of the damage that it'll build. And I also really like to have Night Comet because some targets will actually block your attacks if you cast spells. So for example, Radagon will block most spells, but he can't block this one. So that's another nice option as well. And you do need a lot of FP for the Meteorite of Estelle, but that's another decent option that we got for damage because this is more of a physical spell, but you can see here that it's just pretty crazy with the damage if we can hit random players or random enemies far away. I also like the Glintstone Ice Crag here. It's a pretty quick casting spell if you want to build up your frostbite from a distance. Now, I didn't charge this up, but the L2 will give us this here, and then we can press R2 and hit from range. And this spell is, or this attack is really good because you can get it off very quickly. Now, as you can see, the damage went down, so if we go back and put on the Shard of Alexander, it boosts the damage of this skill. Even though it's not technically a skill attack, it'll still buff it up, and now you can one-shot. So it's an extra 200 damage. So the Shard of Alexander is actually a really good one to use here because of that extra damage that it's going to bring to your... This is going to be your main source of attacks because this doesn't use FP. So you can just continually spam this and you won't run low on FP. It just uses your endurance, which you get back really quickly. So extremely powerful. And I also have Zamor Ice Storm on here. Not like essential, but you can set this up just for the extra frostbite. Frost is so good in Elden Ring, so being able to set up areas of frostbite's quite nice. And even so, you can just run in with the Greatsword, and a couple of hits will usually take out most regular enemies because of the frostbite buildup that occurs with this. So this is an extremely powerful build in Elden Ring, and I encourage you to give it a shot because this sword looks cool and it's even more fun to use. So there it is. That is the Dark Moon Greatsword in Elden Ring, and this can help out with the Shadow of the Erdtree. If you found this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this video useful.